fine week. I'm glad you actually read that. I hope that you all can go back in and take some time to look at it and read it over. I hope that it's very clear and you're easy to understand, and that you're receptive to the message that it represents. This was my first piece that I created in my junior year of high school. I did vase, which is like it's an art competition down here, and initially I had whole the ears were open, and I put like the little incense cones inside so that smoke could come out the ears, which was so cool. It was so cool. Almost backfired on me because I couldn't figure out how to get the cone out, and we were in a school building, so I was like, "Oh, is it gonna catch on fire or what?" I had to like run and pour water over them. So I was like, "Okay, well, moving forward, I think we can kind of still keep the theme and put the corks in." So initially, the smoke was to show the expression of anger, and like blowing off the steam. And then the corks, it's transformed into, okay, now we're gonna block out what is being told to us, what um, all of these narratives and stereotypes that are being placed on us. We're going to block them out. So, and then the mirror is just like a reflection, being able to see the reflection of yourself. But yeah, so the last two pieces, the miniature sculptures, if I'm going too fast, please, I talk fast.
No, you're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
But the last two, Daniel and Monica, I made those more recently. So I usually started off with the life size pieces, but over time, one because of the size, it does take a long time to produce, and I don't have all the resources. I don't have a kiln to like fire them yet, so I do what I can with creating them until I can get them fired. And but I also wanted to provide something that is more feasible for me to do, and then also more affordable as well. So I started practicing working on a smaller scale. And with polymer clay, I'm able to actually bake the clay in the oven. So I finally graduated from the house oven, and I got myself a toaster oven designated for my sculptures. So I'm so grateful that I was able to do that. Um, but
So
yeah,
now you can bake your cookies now and not have to worry about it.
yes, just separate the two. Thankfully, we're all okay. Um, but yes, so it's so convenient, and I can get a bunch of pieces done and put them in the toaster oven, and then I can get to painting them, and I can finish them a lot quicker. Um, I just love these. I think that overall, all of the pieces that I submitted, I just wanted to show my progression, since I started out, and starting off with getting back in touch with who, or like the techniques I was using, and starting off crafting, and then getting into clay and making my first head sculpture, and then to now to my minis, which I'm so proud of. And every day I just finished another one, so hopefully you guys will see that on my Instagram. But yes, I think this is just a perfect depiction of my growth. So
Well, thank you.
thank you, John.
Thank you for sharing all that with us, and we appreciate it because a lot of times we see the work, but we don't know like the story behind it or what's really impacting you to create these things. And I appreciate that. One thing that I appreciated that you said was when you did the Room 302, it kind of wasn't with the intent of trying to sell something. And a lot of times as artists, I even made a post about if money wasn't an object, what would we create? What would be our passion? What would be the reasoning for, or what type of work will we put out? And I'm glad you said that because one of the things you said was, I created for the little version of me. And that's something that I think as artists we all need to tap back into because a
Mhm.
lot of times when kids just make things, they don't make it to think, oh, I'm going to sell this for millions of dollars. No, they
Yeah.
just create because they enjoy creating. And I know for me, like outside of these shows, my wife, I think she's on now, but she'll tell you like I'm more focused on a lot of times the business side of things with being an artist that it detracts me from the actual creating it. And I appreciate you saying that because it really brings back to mind what's the reason and purpose for me being an artist. So thank you for that. And then two, whoo, this resonated because um as a man, as a black man, a lot of times, even like bringing my son up, a lot of times, he's going through things, and then the first thing you want to tell him is, "Hey, suck it up, don't cry," like be a man about it. And that's not always the case, and so a lot of times and it's mainly just through what we've grown up with. A lot of times being a man in general, I think some of our fathers probably teach us, hey, you don't have to cry about everything. And it's some of it's a protection in a sense of protecting us from the world because the world won't really cater to your feelings as much as you would like to think. And so fathers are trying to prepare them for that. But at the same time, I like it because it's like we don't really have that outlet to just let the tears come out, unless you're in a safe space with your home, with your family, with your wife, with whoever your close counterpart is. But for a lot of young men, they don't have that outlet. And so when you explain the ears, I was going to ask about the ears, you know, uh, I like that though when you mention that it's kind of like letting the steam out.